Still, this one is under the auditing, especially the auditing of the payables. Yeah, auditing of the payables, and sometimes it can be used under the receivable, but mostly under the payable. That is where it is widely used, the three order matching. And we call it the three-way because we shall be dealing with three items that we normally counter check whether they have matched. And normally in auditing, we are looking at it under when we want to detect whether there is error or whether there is a fraud that is being committed with regards to payables, whether we had paid for items that we had not received, or we paid for items that we had not ordered, or what we ordered was what was received. That is the key thing where we are comparing the three documents under the three-way order matching. And it says the three-way matching in accounts payable is a process aimed at ensuring accuracy and integrity in a financial transaction. This method involves cross-referencing three essential documents, including that is the purchase order, the PO, the receipts of goods, the goods received note, and the invoice. So purchase order, receipt, and invoice. This process ensures accuracy and accountability in accounts payable, minimizing errors and fraud risk. That is the main area or the main key thing, the objective of conducting the three-way order matching. We need to minimize, making sure that people are accountable. We are minimizing the errors, and again, we are minimizing the risk of fraud. So the components of three-way order matching, we are having the purchase order. As the first document, we send the purchase order to the vendor to authorize the purchase. The PO includes our company name, address, it goes on the date, the PO number, description, and quantities of the goods or services we are ordering and agreed upon pricing. So first we send the PO, the purchase order. Then after this, the supplier has received this one, he will now deliver the goods as per the purchase order. And when they are delivering, they'll have what we call the delivery receipt, also called the order receipt or shipping receipt, goods received note, or packing slip, all these names. And this is a detailed list of the products the supplier has delivered in a shipment. Usually, the delivery receipt contains the same information as the invoice, but not always. As we will see, sometimes the supplier may only deliver part of an order, which they will reflect on the receipt. So these are deliveries. So they are supposed to deliver goods as per the purchase order, the goods that we had ordered. Whether they will deliver all or they will deliver half, it will depend now with the availability of those particular goods. Then supplier's invoice, after they have made the delivery sometimes comes together with the invoice, or the invoice will come later, again depending with the supplier. So supplier invoice, after the supplier completes the shipment, they will send us an invoice. The invoice contains the invoice number and all the information from the PO, including our name and address, PO number, and order date, the product and service delivered, pricing, taxes, and the total amount due. This invoice may also contain the credit, early payment discount, or notes indicating product still to be delivered. So those are the three documents that we normally consider: purchase order, delivery receipt, and the supplier invoice under the three-way order matching. And under these, the key formulas that we shall be using, there are two. We shall use the AND and the VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP functions, they are the ones that we shall be using. We shall combine the VLOOKUP and the AND function so that we try and counter check whether the three documents are matching or they are not matching. And again, there is another formula, we call it the if error. Is also used whenever there is errors, where they will be able to return the false argumentation. That time now we shall correct that using the if error. So that is the three-way, just a summary, a brief summary of the three-way order matching. So you're having the three documents here that we shall use as to do our calculation as an example. So we are having the purchase order, the purchase order, and this purchase order will be using it as a primary document, because this contains all the PO numbers that we made, all the PO numbers that we had raised, or the purchase order that we had. Okay. So now that you have considered the transfer to the reserve as an expense, you should have a loss, not a profit. Okay, so still on the other question. So it should not be back. Thank you for that. So for this one, for the three-way order matching, so I was saying we are having three. We have what we call the purchase order, the goods received. So these are the goods received note. Yeah, goods received note. And we have the invoice, the invoices received, the invoices received. What you should note is that the purchase order, this has got all the purchase orders, all the purchases that we had made, or all the orders that we have already issued or we have requested. Yeah, because it has all the PO numbers and the dates that we had made these particular purchase orders. Then the received, it will show us the received number, or those goods received note number, this one that has been written received, and it will include what, the PO number. Yeah, it will be corresponded to the PO number which we had ordered, the PO number which we had ordered. Then, so after receiving these goods, we received the invoice. Invoice, it will have again the invoice number vis-a-vis the PO number, so that the thing that is constant under the three is the PO number. So PO number is there under the invoice, PO number is there under the goods received, and PO number is there under the purchase order. So the primary document that we are using to compare the three of them is the purchase order, because this one comprises of all the orders that we had done, or the orders that we had already issued to the supplier to supply these goods. So the three order matching, we need now to match the purchase order, the goods received, and the invoice to confirm that the PO that is there under the purchase order is, we find the same PO number under the goods received, and we find the same PO number under the invoice. So we match the three documents that actually this is what we had ordered, we received the same good, and we received the invoice, that the three documents for that particular same order are available, so that in cases of fraud, if we had paid an item and we did not have the three receipts or the three source primary documents, then we can know there's a problem. Yeah, either there is fraud or there's something that is going on in the organization. So in this case, we need now to know actually that the three of them corresponds. The three of them corresponds, and that's why we are calling it the three order matching. The three order matching. So the first thing that we need to do, we shall use what we call the VLOOKUP. Yeah, the VLOOKUP function. VLOOKUP. The VLOOKUP, and we shall create two functions under the VLOOKUP. We need first, because we first look 2 by 2, we look at this PO in the received note, whether we shall be able to find it, and again we look at this PO in the invoice, whether again we shall be able to find that particular value, And the thing that we do here, just put the VLOOKUP formula, VLOOKUP, you double click that, and it will require you, when you double click, it will require you to have the lookup value, what you are looking at, the lookup value. And our lookup value, we need to look at this value. Yeah, this one, that is what we need to look at. And because that is the value that we need, and we are looking up at this particular column, this column, so we shall only lock, partial lock the column B, partial lock of column B. We said we use a dollar sign. We don't want to lock the exact value, because we shall look at the entire column, that particular value, and we put a comma. Then it will require us to have a table array. For our table array, we are looking at it from the received. Yeah, table array, we look at it from the received. So the received, we have it here, the PO under the received. So we shall highlight this array of numbers, yeah, the entire column under the received. You need to look at that particular value here, and again this one will remain constant. We shall lock the entire column, we shall lock everything in this particular column, the PO numbers, that we have it there, lock it. Then the other thing, put a comma, you can use here, comma, then column index number. Yeah, here, column index number. And our index number for the first one where we are having the purchase order, if I can come back here, the purchase order, remember the purchase order is under column 1. This one is under column 1, is under column 1, under column 1, under column 1. So let me revisit these because I think I have lost this. Yeah, that one. I lock that, comma. So it is under column 1 for the first. Column 1 under the purchase order. Yeah, it is in the first column where we have the PO. So column 1 we just put number 1. Yeah, column 1 we just put number 1. Again, we put another comma. Another comma. Okay. So you are lost already. Yeah, you are lost already. So let us go back so that you are not lost. You are not lost. So the key thing we are saying we need to compare. We have 3 orders or we have 3 documents that we need to look at. So we are having the purchase order, we are having the received, goods received, and we are having the invoice. And remember, these are many numbers. There are many numbers or many POs, many receipts that we are receiving or many invoices that we are received. Ideally, when you look at it manually, like here, the first PO number that we have is 25010. When you come to the received, you'll find actually we had it 25010. So it is there. So the two of them are matching. That actually we ordered and we received these particular goods. Then we confirm, did we receive the invoice? We come to the invoice. We have the invoice that had the same PO number of 25010. That one is just one particular single element. But now you cannot be able to look at it manually, all of them. That when you come to 25011, you'll find that here it is not the next. So you have now to find all in all these numbers. Did we receive that particular those particular goods under all this particular PO? And again, when you come to the invoice, did we receive 25011? Yeah, like here you can find it. We have it 25011. So it must be there under the 3 documents. Under the 3 documents. That's why we are calling it the 3 order matching. We are matching and we need to have the exact match. That it is actually in this, it is actually in this, and it is actually in these other document. These are the document. That's what we are calling the exact match. And to connect the 3 tables, yeah, so that we connect the 3, so that we are able to look at a value from this to this other one and to this other one. That is where the VLOOKUP comes in. The VLOOKUP comes in. But what you'll find that the VLOOKUP is only able to connect 2 tables. It cannot be able to connect 3. Yeah, it only connects 2 tables. Yeah, it can be able to search an element in table 1, and you can be able to search that element in another table. 2 tables. But now when it comes to AND, the one that we said we are using the 2, the VLOOKUP and the AND function can be able to connect the 3, but under the VLOOKUP. So AND function again cannot be used alone. So you have to connect it under the VLOOKUP. And that's why now first we are looking at, when you talk about the VLOOKUP, we are looking at the value first under the 2, and we are saying we are looking at the purchase order and the received and the purchase order and the invoice. Then from there we shall come and use this particular column to confirm actually whether the 3 of them are there. The PO equals to received note equals to invoice. If they are there, it will return an argumentation for true, that actually they are there, they are the same, that is true. If they are not there, it will return an error. Yeah, an error that this one and this one, they don't match. There is no matching for that. So that now we can know out of the total PO, assuming there are 30 of them, the one that are matching are only 5, the one that are matching are only 6. And now that investigation can be done why the others were not received and so on. Hoping that explanation now will be able to clear the error for those ones that were lost on what we are doing. So what we are doing, we need to look at this PO, and manually we have seen that it is there in the purchase order, it is there in the received, and it is there in the invoice, but that is just one value. So we have not looked at all these others manually. That's why we are doing using the Excel, so that it will assist us to counter check easily in all of them, whether they are there or they are not there. So look at the VLOOKUP then. Yeah, and we have said we are starting with what we call, so this formula is one that is guiding us. Just follow whatever the formula is. When you put the VLOOKUP, it will ask you the lookup value. What do you want to look? We need to look at this particular value. Yeah, this particular value, the PO, but this one is just one, but we need to look at all of them. That's why we are locking this particular column, the first column. Yeah, the first column. Remember, when you lock the value, you are only looking at that one particular value. We don't want to look at one value. We need to look at the entire column, the column B. That's why we are locking partial lock of column B, and put a comma. The table array, we are saying we are looking at it from the received, from the received note, and from the received note we highlight these where we have our PO, that way, and now we lock the entire column because we have all the values there. We lock them. Those are the values that we have. Then we put a comma. The index, we are saying we are looking at it from the purchase order, column 1, where it is in column 1, and you put a comma, and it will come out to this, whether it is true or whether it is false. So approximation match, and we have the false, the exact match. So we need now to have the exact. If it is true, you normally put 1. If it is false, where we normally deal with the exact, because we need to have the exact match. So the true alone, it is 1. It will return true, true, true. But the exact match, you take the false one, whereby we put number 0. Number 0 is for the false, whereby we talk about the exact match, so that it can match the values exactly. And you enter, you close, and you enter, and you find that actually we have that particular value. So it has been able to look at this value in the second one. The way we had looked at it, we saw it is there, and that's why it is returning that value is there, 25010. 25010 is available in that. We go to the next one. We just need to look at only one. Then the next, we shall take the formula. We shall paste the formula, this formula that we have. So we look at now the purchase order vis-a-vis the invoice. Purchase order vis-a-vis the invoice, the same formula that we had. We now counter check it in the invoice, and still we look at the VLOOKUP. So the lookup value is the same, and we lock this, partial lock, put a comma. So the array now, table array, we come to the invoice. Invoice values, they are just few, this array, and I will lock this. I will lock that. I put a comma, and again the index is still under the purchase order, which was our primary, which is in column 1 of the purchase order, and we have said we need the exact match, whereby we are using a 0 for the exact match, and we enter, and we'll find that again for both of them we have, So under the first one, the PO and the invoice, PO and the receipts, the value is there, and the PO and the invoice, the value is there. So in both of them, the value are available. So what next after you have done that? Now we shall come to this, to confirm now that actually the 3 of them, they will now be able to tally. Here is where we are using the AND function. And before we use the AND function, what we shall be able to do, we copy the formula here, and we normally copy this formula in the clipboard. This is our clipboard here. You can click this, and I will clear my clipboard so that my clipboard is empty. So this is my clipboard here, I'll just click this. You can either double click so that it will show the entire formula. So we need to copy these, the entire formula in the clipboard here, and I can control C. Yeah, control C for copy. I think it has copied that. Yeah, copy. And when I copy, it will paste itself directly automatically under the what? It will paste it under the clipboard. When I copy this, yeah, copy this. So we have this formula that has been copied under the clipboard. I copy the second one for the VLOOKUP. Remember, we had two of them. Double click, highlight it. One is for the invoice and the other one, so copy, and again we shall have it. So one is for the invoice and the other one is for the received. Yeah, for the received note, that way. So that one is already done. We have copied the two. Now we need to combine here to confirm that the PO and the received and the invoice are the same. PO, received, and the invoice are the same. So we shall use the AND function here. So it checks whether all the arguments are true and returns true if all arguments are true. So if it is true, all of them, then it will turn it to be true. And if it is not true, it will bring an error. So I will either double click or I tab this. You'll find that now this one have logic 1, logic 2, and so on. Yeah, logic 1, logic 2, and it continues. And so the logic 1 that we had is this one. So I'll have this. I think it is this. Yeah. And I equate with the formula that we had. That one actually is the same as this. It is the same as that. And again, the second one, we had this one. Okay, I'll put a comma first. Okay, so this one is a short, it's not complete, it's not the entire thing. So and yeah, so the logic one, this one. So here I was to put this. That one is equals to the invoice, the one for the invoice where we had the formula there for the invoice, and I'll put a comma here. Put a comma for logic 1, and again I take these and I click the second formula. That for the first one, the B2 equals to the invoice that we had, comma, and the B3, the same B3 that we had here, is the same as the one that in the received note. The same as the one in the received note. And I'll enter, this, and you'll find that it will tell me that actually the three of them, the one in the PO, the one in the received, and the one in the invoice, they are available. The three of them, it is true. Yeah, it is true. And this one now I can double click or I can drag. And when I drag or I double click that, you'll see the true, and the ones that are not available. Yeah, the ones that are not available, those are the ones that you're calling the errors. Yeah, the errors, the NA, not available. Yeah, so these others are true. Yeah, so those are the ones that are really matching. The three of them are matching, and the ones that are not available, they are not available. So to correct these, or you can eliminate these that are not available, whereby again under these we shall include what we call the if the if error. We first answer this. Yeah, VLOOKUP, we just did one cell. Yeah, only for one cell. Only remember now what we have done for the VLOOKUP, we needed just the formula, because the formula that we had, this formula covers the entire column. It is not just one cell, it covers the entire column, because remember we had locked these partially, and when you come to these others, it covers the entire. For the received, covers the entire. Here it covers the entire, which was fully locked.
Malim,
Yes.
Maybe is there another function that can combine when you open more or sheet other than one?
Okay, so for now I
Is
know.
it only VLOOKUP?
So for VLOOKUP, remember what happens for the VLOOKUP is looking the exact match. It's not just combining, because VLOOKUPs, we have the VLOOKUP and we have the HLOOKUP. VLOOKUP is used whenever we are looking at a value in other sheets. Yeah, in other sheets, because that's the key thing that we are looking, whether this particular function or this particular value is in that other particular value, whether it exists or it does not exist. That's the purpose of the VLOOKUP, and that's why the VLOOKUP is key under these. And VLOOKUP only is combining two of them. It cannot combine more than two sheets. So to combine more than two sheets where we have different logic that you need to apply, then the AND function is the one that is being applied there. Hoping I have answered that. Okay, I think this one, let me just go back to the original value. Okay, I think this one was not there. Yeah, that way. So I was answering that. Yeah. So the VLOOKUP, what we had here is only, it's not just for one, but it contains the formula for the entire. Yeah, contains the formula for the entire, and this one contains the formula for the entire. So in this one, I wanted to eliminate this one, these errors that we are having. And here we can have what we call the if error. The if error. We can include the if error. So before and, yeah, the if error, this one. I'll double click. And the if error, it normally includes the value, okay, and value of an error. Just a minute, so that I include it the place that is supposed to be. So we need it, okay, just a minute. Normally have the opening and closing mark. I think it will be able to pick that, so that it will be able to eliminate if it is true and if it is false. Okay, you entered few argumentation for the if. Just a minute for the if error, because if error is normally used in the event that we need to eliminate these errors that we are having, so that you can either decide to eliminate 1 1, but it can be tedious when you are to eliminate 1 1 1, and therefore if error is the one that comes to deal with that, so that it can be able to eliminate the errors with ease. And okay, just a minute. Wonder why it's not picking up. It returns an error if expression of an error and value. Okay, so the value, we need it if it is true, value of an error. Okay, so here we need true, and then comma, the other one supposed to be that way, and we close this, and we enter. Do you want to accept correction? No. So for the if error is not working correctly under my end. Okay, but the key thing for that, as I counter check the if error, the key thing first is to arrive at this particular point, that actually you can be able to return the true, and you can easily be able even to do what you can count. Yeah, we normally have the count if. How many of them are true? How many of them are true? Yeah, count if. Yeah, so the range is this one that we have as our range, and the criteria is the one that is true. Yeah, the one that is true, and I close this, and you'll find that out of all these 15 entries are true. Yeah, 15 entries are true, and all the other entries are false.
Hello, Mwalimu.
Yes.
Mwalimu.
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Hello, Mwalimu.
Yeah, nakusikia Silas. Go ahead.
If error, just click in the cell. Just click in the cell D3.
Here.
Then start the. Try to put the if error.
Here under the B3 or under and.
Yes. Just start again the way you had done.
Here. So the if error. Go ahead.
Then the comma. The comma you are supposed to put to the farthest end.
Okay.
Error after activating. Just go towards the end.
Yeah, toward the
then
end.
Put the
comma. Then the 2.
Yeah.
Then I close the bracket.
Then you put the if error. You put what you want. Yes.
Yeah,
then you
the 2 of them. Then the bracket. Yeah, I think that one is okay. And I will enter. Yeah, thank you. And here I'll double click, and you'll find that now it has eliminated. So thank you, Silas. Yeah, so that one now it has eliminated all the errors that were there, and now you can easily know, without even counting. These one are easily visible, the ones that are actually true, so here if error, you have started just putting the equal, putting the if error, it has opened this bracket, it will close all these. Towards the end you put a comma, then opening the 2 opening and closing marks. Then you put the bracket and you enter and you drag. When you drag all through, it will be able to eliminate the ones that were not available. And that one is the three-way order matching. So because you have the files, you can be able to try later on to see whether you can be able first to find the VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP, that the 2 of them and the purchase order and the received, they are available, they are matching. The purchase order and the invoice, they are matching. And from there, when already you have these 2 values, you will open your clipboard, and you copy the formula. And when you just copy the formula, automatically it will paste itself under the clipboard. Copy the second formula, it will paste itself under the clipboard. And after that, under the first cell, you will put now is equals to, then and formula. And when you have the and formula, you need to have the PO, the B3. Then you copy these, or you just copy this, and it will come in front of B. Then you put a comma, then you start again with B3, copy the second formula, or you enter the second formula, and you'll find that you'll have all that. They're saying that you'll take just this value and you click this, automatically it will have all that. And again you click this. I had to put a comma here, comma, then you click B3, then this one, and again that's the end. It will, okay, I think I've not put the bracket at the end. But generally that's how you put the B, then you put the formula, the B comma, B the second, the formula, and you'll be able to have all that formulas picked there, and you'll be able now to confirm whether actually the values are there under the 3, so that you have the 3 order matching. So we can move on to another one. So the audit we have done, the 2 questions now, the one for looking at the audit schedule, and now for this one for 3 order matching. And we have said for the 3 order matching generally is applied under the payables, generally to reduce the risk of fraud in that department. So we do tax either one.